recording. All right, there we go. All right. All right. I gotta start. I gotta start with the usual nonsense. Well, what's good? Hope you're good, Steve. What's the vibes? What's the vibes? How you doing?
Yeah, all that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, man. And I know you got WAS later on, so I'm not gonna take up too much of your time. But I'm just gonna ask you a few questions. To pick your brain about the FGC and stuff like that, and what people can like learn and stuff like that. So
hmm
yeah, you've been in the FGC for quite a long time. So first things first, I'm gonna ask you, your origin story. How did you get into here, the FGC? How did you go? How did you go from playing in fighting games and stuff like that?
Gotcha.
Okay, yeah. So how did you do it?
Yeah, it was fine. We'll just wing it. All good.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. How did you get into this fighting game business?
Um, Pretty much before fighting games, I was playing shooters. I was playing Gears of War, like Metal Gear Solid Online and stuff like that. I was pretty young at that time, so I was doing that like when I was like between like 11 and 12.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, 2009, Street Fighter 4 came out, and my brother brought it home, and we started pretty much just playing Street Fighter 4. I immediately fell in love with the game, so like we kept playing like, for hours on end, pretty like a pretty long time. Eventually, uh I would do if you're familiar with
Oh
gamebattles.com,
yeah,
so, online ranking ladder and stuff like that. It's like
yeah.
the way I look at it at it now is a bit different from back then. Basically, it's 2 out of 3 sets or whatever the case is, but like with something potentially on the line, you get a little crown online.
Mm-hmm.
You climb up this separate leaderboard that's separate from the regular rank systems that the games have,
Mm-hmm.
and it feels more it feels more serious, I guess. I was
Yeah.
doing that for like a pretty long time in 2009. And eventually, like, when I found like forums and stuff like shortyoucan.com,
Mm-hmm.
I eventually found out that people do this offline. I didn't really know like, offline tournaments for Street Fighter and stuff existed. So, when I did find one, my very first one was like in White Plains, New York. So it's upstate New York for
Mm.
me, like slightly upstate.
Yeah.
And like the winner got like a little play and trade gift card. I got second place. So, not bad for like a first showing. But from there, I actively uh seeked out some more tournaments to go to,
Mm-hmm.
and we kind of just kept the ball rolling from there and never really stopped.
So the year is my like 20. The year is like around like 2011. Marvel 3 comes out. So
hmm
what's like how did you come across that game?
Um, so before Marvel 3, well, actually around the same time, new Mortal Kombat was coming out,
Yeah.
basically. So yeah, Mortal Kombat 2011. Um, and I played Mortal Kombat first. Pretty much had like the similar kind of things, like playing a lot online, the forums and stuff. I was able to find like some offline sessions, things like that. And then I kind of just gathered the idea that I just really like playing fighting games.
Mm-hmm.
So you start looking for more, right? Like the ones that you didn't really know. I knew Marvel vs. Capcom 2 existed, right?
Yeah.
So I tried it out like a bit more serious because at the time I was pursuing the competitive avenues anyhow.
Mm-hmm.
So you start trying other things and seeing what you really like. And when you hear like Marvel vs. Capcom 3 is coming out, the whole world is going crazy, really. Like
Yeah.
like in the fighting game world is going crazy. I am still kind of new to this genre, the versus genre of like of fighting games. Like because like, the fighting games have like their little subgenres and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I'm like on the newer end, while I'm appreciative and like it a lot that is coming out. I'm not like the most excited for it, but playing it was very different.
Mm-hmm.
You and that's just a game like I really fell in love with too. It's just very fast paced, um, free form. You get to do whatever you want, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And by that time already, I already knew Bum, from House of Chaos.
Yeah.
Back then, OGs know that it's the House of
House of
Crack.
Crack, you know the
For
vibes,
OGs.
yeah.
Yeah, but and he was hosting sessions for Street Fighter 4. At the time of when Street Fighter 4 was popping. And that was for years. When Marvel 3 came out, he was doing the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I got to play with him, Noel Brown. He lived back in New York. You have Ray Ray, NYC 5, and stuff like that. So I learned a lot from everybody around me, like help me get better at that kind of game.
Mm. So your trademark team, Spencer Dunova. How did you come across that
Hmm.
team?
So Vanilla Marvel 3, uh, Nova wasn't in the game.
Yeah.
Right? Spencer and Doom were. By the end of Vanilla Marvel 3, I was playing Wesker Doom and Amaterasu,
Hmm.
um, which is kind of just like what I settled on, like just like for the end game, because I didn't really like how the top tiers were. Like I just didn't really enjoy playing them like that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so when Ultimate came out, I'm trying my same team. It's like my team is better, right? Because like Doctor Doom is a lot better, right? Although Wesker is worse. Amy was still kind of developing too, but like Doctor Doom being a lot better and me understanding the game a bit better, I stuck with that for a little bit of time until like I start playing these guys like a lot more, and then you kind of just realize that you need something new and different, either something that can fit you or something that can fit the meta,
Yeah.
something that you could just like really click with, but also win with.
Hmm.
So I'm studying the game also, and then I'm seeing like I see like Nova Spencer, Hawkeye, or Sentinel, etc. And then I was like, okay, I played these characters, but I've also played Doom longer than all of them. So I like Nova. I played Spencer for a while in Vanilla too. So I'm like, let me just kind of see what I can put together with this. Um, and then like I learned about like the hard tags and like how the overall synergy works. I'm like, okay, you can kind of just die from everything,
Yeah.
and that's what the game is about at the end of the day. So you start just like kind of fitting the pieces together, and then this is what you really come up with. And I never looked back since. I'm playing that team for what, like 10 years, 10 years ish.
Hmm.
Been about that time.
What would be like in your opinion? I feel like I know I may have a different opinion. What is your favorite moment that you ever been a part of in the FGC?
I have a few, but my personal one will always be Evo 2014.
Mm-hmm.
Until I get an Evo win, or in a bigger current game, like being on that stage again, I don't think there's much that can really top that for me.
Okay.
Like I'm sharing the stage with some of my best friends in something that I worked really hard in, and there's not many people in the world that can say that they have an Evo medal or were an Evo finalist.
Yeah.
And that's always something like, sure, I didn't win, right? We all want to win. There can only be one person to win, but it's definitely it really tells you that you can only go up from here. And I did, because afterwards, then I have a few majors under my belt, or like top 2 to 3 at said majors too,
Mm-hmm.
multiple different games and stuff like that. It propels you and makes you want to just keep going.
Mm.
And it's gonna take another Evo and another time on the big stage, I think, to actually top that moment.
Not gonna lie, one of my favorite moments from you is the 99-second throw against Flux. That shit, that shit is so funny to me. Cause like you would never expect it, and then like it's so funny. You
Well,
never expect that shit.
from a spectator standpoint, yes. As someone that like we've played the game long enough, and we're so far into the set, and when you see it happen, of course you can't help but laugh because it's always gonna be like one of those things,
Yeah,
right? Like it's something that's to this day still talked about. Like I see the like the gifs and everything at least like once a month
you
in
do.
2023, 2024, which
That's
is crazy.
crazy.
So yeah, it's still something that it's commonly brought up, which to me is cool, and uh, I definitely know that's something that's really memorable for other people too.
Yeah, I feel like that's definitely like a famous moment of yours. And then I remember you used to play Pokken a lot when they first dropped because you actually beat one of my friends in Pokken at CEO one year. And I was like, yo, I
Oh,
think it
did
was the
I?
first year. Yeah, it was. Yeah, you did beat one of my friends at the time at CEO one year. He was like, yo, I played this nigga Coach Steve. I was like, bro, yeah, I was like, bro, and that's why I
Oh,
found you.
who was it?
Sacred. I think it was
Oh,
Sacred.
okay,
Yeah,
okay,
that was
yeah,
him. Yeah, that was my guy.
yeah. That CEO bracket, that was 2016.
Yeah.
That was one of my favorite tournaments actually, and I got fourth there. It was cool because like it was the beginning of Pokken competitively
Mhm.
for the most part, and then like while I'm playing at my locals and stuff like that, right? Like my scene is getting better. We're developing a lot of things. At that time in New York, I'm probably I was probably the best player. Is the like between me and like Catfight and stuff and players like that.
Yeah.
But that was like way back in the early Pokemon days. But we all grinded like a lot, and kind of just being able to show like how Pokemon is played in New York like at a high level. I thought was really cool. Like and even on like an international level too, because like Goichi was there,
Yeah.
Abadango,
Bruh,
like
dude, that's a yank.
he's playing
That's a
there for
yank.
like he was playing the game for a while too,
Bro, I
right?
haven't
And
heard
like you
Abadongo in
got
so
all
long.
you got all these international players, and it's like everybody's grinding, right? The Florida scene is strong. You got Suiku Master.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to remember Swillow.
Oh, I remember so.
Players like
Yeah.
that. Yeah, like the Obscure was in Florida at the time. I don't know. Maybe he still lives in Florida, but at that time he's in Florida. And yeah, like all these players are just like really strong. You got to deal with Atlanta with TJ. TGJ is really good.
Mm-hmm.
Septile,
Yeah.
right? So the presence was strong at early Boken, and that was always cool. From CEO to Evo and to Worlds and stuff like that.
I want you to know I started playing Pokemon because I started watching you at that time. No, I
Oh,
didn't.
I
Well,
appreciate that.
actually,
I
I've been
like
watching you for a
it was
while.
some of my most fun days actually was Pokken.
I was watching you for a while, but when you started playing Pokemon is when I really started to pay attention to you and stuff like that. It was really funny.
Yeah, it was some of my most fun days for sure. Like the locals were always fun, like that the crowd that was there, like I can consider them all friends.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, they always created a competitive environment, but everybody was just real cool,
Mm-hmm.
and then we were able to play online a lot, like with all the other players. Everybody was just always grinding and trying to be better than the next, and it was healthy. It's healthy for the game. It was healthy for this like our local scene, for the entire scene itself.
Yeah.
It was cool for me.
Yeah, I still play Pokemon to this day actually, cause I play with my friend offline sometimes. Sometimes me and her we just play games
Yeah,
offline. It's really fun.
they actually had it was a few months back. They had like a recent offline tournament actually in OS. I wasn't able to make it because I was at another tournament.
Hmm.
It would have been cool like to stop by, but yeah, like the scene is still it's still out there. Like people definitely still play.
Yeah, I definitely love that game so much, man. I just wish that they like made like did more with the game and like like made a new game or a new update to the game because it's just a lot.
Yeah, it would have been cool. It might have been hard because of like the rights and stuff like that.
Yeah,
We never know. Like maybe down the road we'll see like a Pokken 2 or something like that, or something similar. It will be nice because they did really well. To me, they did really well with Pokken, and then into Pokken DX, uh, like is basically the expansion.
yeah,
But overall, I think the game was just it was really fun. Had a diverse roster. Characters were all unique.
hmm
A lot
yo,
of different like cool stages. Everything about it, it's like it's as a kid, you wanted Pokemon actually fighting.
yeah,
Sometimes, like instead of like, the Pokemon Stadium. While Pokemon Stadium, I love Pokemon Stadium,
hmm
but like this one is just like I'm in full control.
yeah,
You know?
yeah. I was looking through Twitter the other day, and I was looking. I found a Pokemon tweet, and I was like, "Yo!" And then I was like, "Yo, Krogan with the unblockable, bro. That shit was kind of fire."
Yeah, he was an interesting character. You didn't really see him often because it was a lot of like meme stuff, but he had some really cheap things. Every character did.
Yeah, I know Libre has the counter attack fucking grab, bro. It's funny as hell. That shit. I'll get my friend really mad about that every time we play. I'm like, yo, she just be like attacking. I was like, yeah, I'm about to mash down A.
Yeah.
It's just so funny,
Yeah,
bro.
Libre had a lot of dumb things. The wall jump give you
Yeah,
the
the
slight
speed
health
boost.
back, speed boost.
Yes, bro. I love that shit. I found that shit out one day. I was like, yo, it's time. I'm locking in. I'm using that shit every time I'm by the wall.
Yep.
And then
Overall safe good movement. Yeah.
when you and then like when you get the when you get like a boost or whatever, like you can double air dash. That's just something funny. That's just so
Yep.
memes, bro.
Yeah.
It's so
It's like your actions are like reset kind of. It was definitely funny time for sure.
yeah. So we're going to fast forward to Evo 2014. Okay. You what games did you enter, for the new people, and how did you feel like you did overall that year?
Oh, so we backtracking now, but yeah, Poke's 2016,
Oh
but
yeah, yeah.
2014 I played. Yeah, you good. 2014 I played Ultimate Marvel 3. I played Street Fighter Cross Tekken, Injustice 1, and Ultra Street Fighter 4. So I
Okay.
entered 4 games that Evo.
hmm How did you
Um,
do in all of them?
yeah, so Marvel was the one that got
The medal,
the
yeah.
7th place, so I got a medal there. I got 33rd in Street Fighter 4. I lost first round, so I had to play like a million matches to make it back. And then I eventually lost to Eita, who's Japanese Akuma player.
Mm.
Really strong, of course. Um, Injustice 1, I got 17th, about 2 away from top 8, 2 or 3 away from top 8. And Street Fighter Cross Tekken, I got 5th. Although it was a side tournament, it was a pretty stacked side tournament, but I did get 5th in there.
Hmm.
So that was a good overall. It was a really good performance. I think I remember a lot of that tournament pretty well. So like I don't really feel bad about any of my matchups or anything like that.
Okay, okay. It's gonna be a little bit of a touchy subject, but like, how do you feel your parents responded to you? Being like, "Oh yeah, I'm about to play video games for a living," and be like, and I know some people are against it. Like some parents are against it. Others are for it. How did your family, react to the point that yeah, I'm a professional video game player. I do this shit for a living.
Well, it's different back then. Just like most of the time it's like either just like not caring that much, and then like as I got older, I just kind of start doing my own thing. I'm already in college, like sort of on my own in that aspect too.
Hmm
And then like like you want the support of your family always, I think, in everything that you do.
Yeah.
um but when you see like you're not getting it, I guess like it can kind of it can kind of get to you a little bit if you let it.
Mm-hmm.
But once like it kind of just hit me is like just be my own person.
Hmm.
At the end of the day, like I'm not gonna stop doing what I'm doing because first and foremost, I'm not harming anybody, right?
Yeah.
So like, and then I love what I'm doing. So why am I gonna stop doing what I love because somebody else doesn't like it?
Yep. You bring a fair and valid point.
You
Yeah.
know, so and where that's I've been doing this for 15 years. Eventually, we come around, right? Like, it's still not, and video game, like the competitive market, you could say like, like tournaments, et cetera, et cetera. It's not the most lucrative thing, right? So like then you dive into the other avenues of doing what you love, with the creation
Content
of
creation.
content and
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah, so like, there's always ways for you to make a living off of this, albeit very difficult.
Mm-hmm.
But if this is what you want to do, you gotta kind of roll with those punches.
Yeah. And another thing I would like to ask you is why, like not why, but how do you feel about this current state of fighting games compared to when you first started?
The current state of fighting games now, so what I've noticed is like it kind of dips and then goes back up. It's almost like a
Roller coaster type
you
beat.
could look at it kind of like a roller coaster, like like a stock market ish kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes people invest in the wrong things. You don't know you're investing in the wrong things. like
Yeah.
the wrong video games, right?
Yeah.
So like the times change. The times are always changing, and you have the choice still to continue to play like the much older games because that's what you these are what you grew up on, you love them, etc. Nobody's gonna stop you,
Discord exists,
right?
stuff like that.
Yeah, there's always ways for you to continue doing that, and to this day we still see that, right? Like Third Strike has a big scene, and Third Strike is also gonna be at Evo this year,
Yep.
right? So like there's things like that. Um, but the times change, the video games change. There's some times where like there's like kind of like droughts where it feels like nobody's playing much because either they're not enjoying the games, maybe online for all the games that are out are probably not that great, so it's hard to get games, etc. You don't
Yeah.
have an offline scene. There's always factors when it comes to like those kind of droughts for games. And what's happening now, I think, is it's back on this very huge resurgence between 2023 and 2024, upcoming 2025, where there's like a plethora of strong scenes, good games. I mean, good games is like
Yeah. Subjective.
it's subjective, but um, there's a lot of options for you, and there's a lot more coming for you to like kind of dive into whatever it is that you want to dive into.
Yeah.
And I think that's what was like needed. I know people often brought up uh like oversaturation.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes like well, there's too many games out, etc.
Too many games.
There's
Too
no
many
such thing as too many
tournaments.
games.
Stuff like
Yeah,
that.
there's no such thing as too many games. Sure, there are too many tournaments. I can agree with sometimes, and that's up to organizers, to
They'll come
kind of
together.
like communicate with each other if they so choose to, right? So that's a completely different discussion. But there's plenty of different games for people to choose from. If they don't like something, they can always attempt to dive into something else,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then until they kind of just find their niche. Not everybody wants to play Tekken.
Mm-hmm.
Not everybody wants to play Street Fighter. Like there's other games out there that you can also try that are big.
Yeah.
So play what you want to play.
Okay. 2 years after Pokken, 2018, Dragon Ball Fighters comes out. How did you stumble upon that game?
Um, So I knew it was coming out for a while, right? They had the beta and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Um, and a lot of like Marvel homies were gonna like try and play it. So naturally, like this is another case of trying to keep up with the times,
Yeah.
stuff like that. The new game, the new versus style game. So we want to try and play it, stuff like that.
Hmm.
When the game first came out and I played it for a while, I didn't really like it that much. So I ended up putting it down like for a couple of months. But I kind of kept tabs on it just in case like things potentially changed that maybe I'll give it another try, right? Because it's always I'm not gonna say I'll never play it again. I don't really do that for any game.
Yeah.
Um, Eventually I seen like the big tournaments, like
Final round being
yeah,
one.
yeah. So I was in final round, but like the finals was nice to see.
Yeah.
Like okay, this is cool, right? But then we have the summit. Then like
Oh
I
yeah.
saw the summit. So the summit was pretty interesting to watch. See how the games are developing, like how the meta's changing, and then CEO comes around where I see like you
Goichi
got
Leffen.
Kazunoko, Goichi. Yeah, the Goichi Leffen set was really nice, right? Like overall, like the top eight was strong, and then that's when I decide like to try and give it like a second chance. It has more characters, so I get to play. Like Bardock is out at this time,
Mm-hmm.
so I get to play Bardock. Bardock is really lit.
Yo, Bardock was so
Um,
fun.
yeah, and then like I enter Evo, and I'm probably one character away from beating Fenrich, but then like he ends up coming back and beats me, and I was like pretty surprised at how I did considering uh how long I stopped playing for and how much Fenrich was progressing at the game itself too. So I like after Evo, I took it into consideration to give it a real chance for a while. The local scene was always there, right, because
Mm-hmm.
of the
Bomb.
HOC.
Yeah.
So it was always easy for me to get good practice offline. And yeah, it kind of just kept going from there.
Mm.
The game expanded for quite a long time. So pretty cool.
If you were to go back in time and tell yourself something that you wanted to learn in fighting games, what would you tell yourself?
Mm, Something I want to learn in fighting games. Um, I feel like I would have tried to learn hitbox earlier. I think that would help, like, execution wise, because my execution is not the best. And because it's hard because of, like, just how my hands are sometimes.
Yeah.
Some things, like, I'm a little slow on as far as, like overall movement with, like finger movement, dexterity goes and stuff like that. So if I was able to, like, take like a lot of time off to learn hitbox, I could probably skip maybe like a good year or two of like something that I'm not like if I'm not like so invested in the games, I could probably skip like a good year to like just master playing on hitbox and go from there. I think it would have changed a bit of things for me, but I don't think there's really not much that I don't know. Maybe some things I could have learned faster or before, like like kind of change the process around a bit.
Yeah.
But I think overall, I have a very solid foundation, but that's because I had good teachers.
Okay. And what is one of your favorite fighting games that you never played? Always like to watch, but never really like played it like that.
Oh, I can consider Tekken up there because I'll never compete in Tekken, but I'll always watch it.
Mm-hmm.
It's at this point to me like the legacy is too far deep, so I would only really play like on a casual like a super casual base level. But other than that, um, I would say Blaze Blue.
Yo, that is
I
my
watch a
favorite
lot.
game.
Yeah, I watch a lot of Blaze Blue, but it's not something I ever like really played like that. But it's always really fun to watch. Like I understand like a bit of what's going on after watching it so much. So it makes it easier to like follow along and like learn things like just by watching.
Yeah, Blaze Blue was when I did my first air dash. I was like, yo, I'm a baby air dasher now. I can do this. And then now I can, and then I learned, cause I played like the very old games, like Continuum Shield, Calamity Trigger, shit like that. I played all the old games. Where I like, I just wanted to like learn how to like the games work, cause the games were really cool and the story was really good. You never really play a fighting game for the story, but I love Blaze Blue story so much to the point that I was like, yeah, I'm invested in this game now. So I followed the
Yeah,
game.
some fighting games they have like pretty decent stories. A
Yeah,
lot of them are all over the place, but
yeah,
when they got a good story, they got a good one.
yeah. Your favorite character in the Blaze Blue series that you wanted to play but never could.
Oh, Azro.
You like the big gorilla character, bro? Oh my god. I'm
Yeah,
not gonna lie. Not gonna lie. Ezra's
it's
hype.
easily Azro. Yeah,
He's hype. He's hype. He's hype. He's hype.
yeah, he's always like the sickest character for me to watch. I like Hakumen too. Hakumen's pretty cool.
Yo, right. Man, bro. I be, every time Azro be going corner to corner, bro. I be saying one song later. I be like to the window, to the wall, bro. It's over with. He be going corner to corner, bro. Shit, funny.
Yep.
Like, my personal favorite character. I mean, my personal favorite character I played in Blaze Blue was obviously, I was obviously Noelle, because Noelle's my favorite fighting game character. Because she's really
Hmm.
cool. And it's just that like personally, I've grown up since then and played a lot of different characters in that game, in that series. I like Blade. I like Noah. Noah will always be top one for me, but my second favorite is like probably Easy or some shit because she's fucking fire.
He's a UAV mix, and it's
Yes,
pretty nice.
I love the 50-50s that she brings, bro. I remember one time I was playing Nitro. We was doing easier mirrors. I did teleport into super. He was like, "Bro, you're a freak." I was like, "Bro, I mean, you weren't expecting it, right?" Shit was so funny. He called me a freak. I said, "Bro, hey man, if I'm a freak, it worked." So it'd be like that. Like, it was funny. It was funny.
Yeah.
And if you were to give any advice to any new fighting game player or any fighting game player who is relatively in the scene but wants to compete in multiple games like you are, what would you tell them?
Just take your time. Take your time with things. It's not gonna be an easy thing to like learn, like like a two in one. Sometimes people want to learn three at one time. Give yourself some time and grace to actually learn what you're doing. You're not gonna win early on like that, so don't really get discouraged. You gotta make sure you go at your own pace. Try and study as much as you can. If you have some friends that you could play with, like try and build like a small circle, maybe different circles, depending on the game, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if you're gonna do this like the multiple game avenue, you gotta understand that now it's a lot harder because the scene is much bigger. Players overall are better at what they're doing, but there's a lot of information to help you if you don't really have like the local scene to help you, or people online, like if you're introverted, don't really talk to nobody like that.
Yeah,
There's a lot of information that can help you get better at everything that you want to do, but give yourself time to do it. Don't expect the instant results, because then you're gonna only make it harder on yourself mentally when you don't feel like you're progressing.
yeah, like like you said earlier, like the Shoryuken forums and stuff like that. This was long like before the ways of the YouTube guys and the YouTube content creators and stuff like that. I mean, there was still like information on YouTube, but it wasn't like necessarily like, how should I put it? It was like games you can watch and stuff like that, like games you can like matches you would watch, but like not necessarily like actual information that you can like
Yeah.
actually like absorb and stuff like that. Like, oh yeah, this character is like five A. It's like 5 frames or some shit like that. You won't get that on like a YouTube video, stuff like that. And that's how like what's just like Dustloop came along, stuff like that. To like do stuff like that. People really put in the hard work. I have a friend of mine in my scene. Um, when new games comes out, he actually does like I know like when he like for like Strive, he did like frame data for Strive and stuff like that because
Hmm.
like he just like he literally like counts frames and shit, and like he records it, like he records it on his capture card or whatever, and just like do all the math and stuff like that needed and stuff like that. So he always does. He's a really big like frame guy, and yeah, he does a lot of that stuff. So I'm like, yeah, like and like the information now compared to back then is very vast compared to back then because like you could always go and watch a match on like YouTube or something like that, but you will never really like understand what's really going on. And so like 'cause some people don't really understand what's going on until it's explained to them in a different manner.
Yeah, everybody learns differently. So, again, it really comes down to you giving yourself the time to learn, figure out how you learn. Right? Some people don't even know how they learn. Like one day they'll just be like, "Oh, I got it," But that like and under a completely different game, they might learn something similar, but in a different light that's explained differently. So, yeah, you always gotta just give yourself time.
Yeah. So okay, now Street Fighter 6 comes out. What are your plans for that game in Grand Blue and the other games that you're coming out that you're going to compete in?
So Street Fighter 6, I still plan on competing heavily. Just while I'm not traveling to places like that, or I'm waiting for when season 2 comes out.
Yeah.
Then we take it all from there. But I'm actively keeping up with the game anyway, just not like in public eye, I guess you could say. But between Street Fighter 6 and Grand Blue, for the remainder of the year, I'm pretty much set. And then I'll probably
Project
just
Project what are your plans on that?
I mean, let's see what happens in 2025. But that game will probably be around for a long time. We got Project L and Garo in 2025
Man, I'm
with
gonna
Fatal
like
Fury. So yeah, like I mean, fighting games are pretty fruitful right now. So pretty much looking forward to the future. See what it brings.
I'm gonna need you to run the Sangaro when it comes out, bro. So I put in my ballot in first. Throw my hand to the ring.
I got you. Yeah,
Uh,
I got you. I'll be playing that game a lot. So
that game looks fire, bro. Though, who's your favorite character show so far?
no, it's Terry. I already have like pretty much my main. I'm waiting for Gato.
Yeah, I'm
Probably
that.
play this dude Kevin. Pretty sick. So
I'm definitely.
we'll see how that one goes. It looks like SNK is putting a lot of love into the game, and that's always nice from developers. It means the game has a bright future. So same with Street Fighter 6. Street Fighter 6 ain't going nowhere for a very long time,
Yeah,
and it's easy to see that.
yeah. I'm definitely running Rock Howard. That's my guy. That's my guy. I
Yeah,
love
Rock
Rock.
is cool.
I love Rock.
He
That's my boy.
learned how to power geyser finally.
Yeah, no, that's
So
just crazy, bro. Like, bro, what the fuck? Yo, it's so hype, bro. That was hype as fuck.
yeah, it's sick. It's sick. I'm really excited for it.
All right. Now, the last thing I want to ask you is, what are your upcoming majors or tournaments that people can see you at, and social media stuff like that. You can plug it and stuff like that.
You guys can find me on Twitter at Fight Coach Fight. Uh, YouTube is just Coach Steve, and Twitch is twitch.tv/ I'm Coach Steve. As far as traveling goes, you see me at the big three. So, CEO Combo Breaker Evo.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Everything in between that or before or after that is pretty up in the air. But the main focus right now is Combo Breaker, and then head to Daytona for CEO, and then finally Evo to
Word.
play some Grand Blue in Street Fighter Six.
Word. Oh, and before I let you go, what
Mm.
is your favorite fighting game character that you ever played in your entire career?
Uh, can I give you like a top five?
Yeah, you get the top five.
I think a top five is reasonable. So we got Spencer in Ultimate Marvel's Capcom 3,
Bionic
Relento in
Arm.
Street Fighter 4, in Ultra Street Fighter 4.
Yeah.
Um, General Ram and Killer Instinct is very strong. I love playing him. He's one of my favorite characters I've ever played. Uh, See here it gets foggy because played just about every fighting game. I would say any iteration of Blanca that's not Street Fighter Five.
We don't talk about Street
Uh,
Fighter Five, Blanca.
yeah, I didn't vibe with him. In the beginning, he was trash anyway. When he got better, I still didn't really. I just didn't like what he became. I guess you could say.
Yeah.
Street Fighter Six, he got the huge glow up. He's very fun to play in Street Fighter Six. And Street Fighter Four, I mean that's the one I started with, so
Yeah.
that one's always special to me. Um, and then after that, I'd say um Atrocitus and Injustice 2.
Mhm.
I think that would be like my top five. It's very close with a lot of characters in other games, but I think I could round out that top five there.
Gotcha.
Still got Mortal Kombat characters. I love Kano. Love Kano. I love Jax. So it's all like kind of interchangeable once you get to like the 4 and 5.
Mm. Well, I ain't gonna hold up your time. I only got watched in like in about an hour or so. So, I'll let you, go into the court and prepare for that. But and boot up your stream if you're gonna stream tonight. So, I'm gonna be there. Everybody else go there. The vibes. And it's been real nice talking to you. And lock in. Keep doing your best. I'm here for you. Everybody's here for you, no matter what. It's your Twitter. It's your Twitter username says Fight Coach Fight. The vibes.
Yeah, for
Uh,
sure.
all right, bro. You be easy, man, for sure.
You too, man. Thanks for having me.
Of course,
Hope you have
bro.
a good night, bro.
All right, you too, man.
All right.
All right.